Hey everybody, welcome back to 18 Outdoors. Again, we appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes, all the subscriptions, all the shares. We really appreciate y'all. I've had several requests about this, so today, if you're interested, or if you want, or if you like to have a camper or start camping on public land, so I'm going to show you our camper, what we use, and try to tell you a few tips, maybe some suggestions. But anyway, the old days of tent camping, of course, if I have to, which I'll do it on Alaska hunts and stuff like that. But Kathy and her camping days kind of pretty much come to end, because if y'all don't know if y'all have heard the story, but we was hunting in Wyoming on public land, had a tent set up, and if you don't know anything about Wyoming or the west out there, that wind can be rough. So we was going hunting one day and come back, and the wind been blowing 50, 60 mile an hour all day, constant. We come back and our tent was shredded, so we ended up spending 9 nights hunting and camping in a Toyota Tacoma. It was a 4-door, but hey, it was still kind of rough on me. Not much rough on her, because she can sleep about anywhere. So we decided to get a camper, and actually this is our second one, so but both been about the same size. So I'm gonna go through what we got and some suggestions and what we kind of use and keep up with. This is ours basically right here. It's like an 18-foot dual axle. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk into the inside and go over the inside stuff first, then I'll come outside and kind of go over some of what you got and how it works and the power and the water supplies and stuff like that. But we're gonna walk in and take care of the inside stuff first. So when you walk through the door, first thing you're gonna see is a bed covered full of coat hangers. So right now we're getting ready, or I'm getting ready for me and my brother to go to Kansas. So as you walk in, you see it's like a full-size bed. They call it a queen, but it's a full-size bed, okay? Come over here, you got your sink, 2-burner stove, furnace, microwave / convection oven, freezer, refrigerator. Already putting some stuff in there to get ready for Kansas. So as I come in, going to the bathroom next, little vanity. We got the storage compartment here. Little essentials. A pretty good sized shower. So, of course, you got your commode, some storage there. And as we walk out, I'm going to kind of talk to you about some of the controls. Because a camper has got different ways of supplying power, okay? And that, you take that into consideration when you're making the decision on what you want to buy and how you're gonna, camp, because there's different types of campgrounds, and everything we do is pretty much primitive. So we depend, or we count on that when we're camping. We want to be able to be self-sustained, basically primitive, and that I'll get into the generator stuff and all that. So right here, you'll see your control station right here. Battery right there, full. Water tank, black tank, gray tank. Okay, so you've got 2 water heater buttons. This is the water pump right here. You've got gas and electric on your hot water heater. And always remember that some of them have controls on the inside, and some of your hot water heater, you'll have a switch on the outside on the actual heater itself, and that's the electric part. So whatever you do, make sure that you got water in the tanks or water supply coming in, and water has run through and filled that hot water heater up before you turn any kind of gas on or power to that hot water heater. If you don't, you're gonna have an issue. You'll burn it up. So that's them 3 controls. So 12-volt electricity, battery. I'll show you that when we go outside. Controls water. If you're using your water tank, and I'll show it outside too. Your water tank will have a 12-volt water pump, It will pressurize your complete water system in the camper for your hot water heater and everything, and you can use gas. And that 12 volts, be it battery or if you're plugged in your vehicle, will run your hot water heater, the gas controller for that, and keep you hot water. And your water pump is 12 volt. It will keep pressure on that. So your refrigerator and freezer right here, as you see these buttons, you got this power button. That's on and off. Mode, you got automatic on this, or just electric right there, or gas. I'll run it on automatic. That way when I'm plugging it up to the generator and crank the generator, it just automatically switches. If the generator quits, it'll automatically flip over to gas. And again, you have to have a 12 volt battery or be hooked up to your vehicle for that, to keep these controllers going for your 12 volt stuff. Because you've got a bunch of stuff that's 12 volt, which makes it easy as far as roughing it. All your lights in here, all them lights is 12 volt LED, okay? So refrigerator will run off at 12 volt, be a gas, or if it's 110, it'll run it. So but we leave it where it's an automatic. Some of them don't have that automatic feature, so you have to remember that. So basically, the only things you're gonna have to worry about being 110 if you want to use it: TV, air conditioner right here, microwave, okay? And I'll show you what generator or what we use, if you need to do that. So also Kathy carries a Keurig coffee pot and an air fryer. So, and I'll show you the generator to do that. Also think about what type of heat that you're going to be, kind of using, because some of the higher tech or newer RVs or campers will have the heat kind of tied in with their air conditioning unit up there. And if you do that, that's 110. It takes a pretty good size generator to do that. So this furnace down here, that fan and the controller right here, 12 volt, controls that heat. It runs it off that temperature, so you can set that temperature. It'll come on, kick on, light the fire. Fan will come on so it reaches that temperature, and it'll kick off. And if you got a real good battery, unless it's extremely cold, you don't have to be hooked up to a generator. It'll handle that pretty much all night under a normal situation. Now, if you get cold, staying in the 20s, and your camper gets cooled off, you could run a battery down. But, if you got a real good battery, or some people switch them over to 2 batteries, but we don't. When it gets real cold, and I'll explain that too when we go outside, we'll just let ours run on a generator, and I'll show you about how that works, so how long that'll last, and what we use. So also underneath this bed is storage underneath there, pretty good storage. You have storage underneath these 2 seats here. We do. That'll let down. If you want to use that as a bed, you could. So storage right there. So for me and Kathy and the dogs we carry, this is a pretty good size, little area. Also, you will not notice, or you will notice, we don't have any slides. And that's just less stuff for me to worry about, because a camper or RV, as I'm telling you, got a lot of systems, a lot of subsystems. So that's, just something else I have to worry about. The slide, it'll give you a little bit more room, but hey, less stuff to worry about leaking, less, operational stuff to worry about, or greasing, or any of that stuff. So we don't have to worry about that with this. So, we've already had a couple of small leaks, but, and now I'll talk with you about that as we go outside. Just the things you got to kind of watch and monitor, because we don't park ours under a top. We don't have a top in our backyard, so it just, things could happen. So anyway, this is the inside setup. It's just all the basics that you need, for camping. It's just, and it's real comfortable. It's just because you got hot water to take a shower, a bed to get into, ways to cook hot food, multiple ways, refrigerator for whatever it is you need, be cold. And again, we have a fantastic time with what we do. So I'm going to go outside and show y'all some of the stuff that we use. As you look out here, up there, we do have the awning. That's nice to put out, as long as you got calm winds. Now, if you take off, leave that thing out, and stay gone all day, and the wind gets up, that thing come back shredded. So we make sure that we're aware of that situation, your weather. Then if it's gonna be bad, we keep that sucker rolling in, because it's just something else you're gonna have to worry about. We don't do that. Dual axle, you know, dual axle stuff I prefer, especially when you're driving long distance, because if you have a flat on a single axle, it's gonna have a problem. You know, especially depending on how fast you're going, it could be real sketchy. So dual axle, I mean, that's what we recommend, what I recommend on this, and it can carry a little bit more weight and easier to tow. And if you have a flat, which we had a flat on our other camper one time going down, they didn't even know it till we got there, entire flat, and we didn't have no effect on the towing part. So I recommend that. So as you can see, again, we got outdoor speakers, you got a radio in there, you got 2 plugs. We can use 2 plugs there. So you got satellite hookups and stuff you can use there. We do not use that stuff. It's just, we don't. So got storage that goes all the way through underneath the bed, basically. 12-volt battery right here, 2 propane tanks, you know, basically grill bottles. And that's, you know, that'll last a long time, basically, unless it's real cold. So outside, you'll see here, this is our fresh water tank. And that goes to a water, you know, it's a tank, you got a 12-volt water pump. And one thing to look at is what size pump that is in there. So we got like a 1.8 gallon. Get the smaller gallon per minute pump. That way you waste water, because water's key when you're when you're going. So always remember that. If you get the bigger pump, you got there taking them Hollywood showers, that 30-gallon water tank, you know, or 40, depending on what size you got. Ours is about a 30. They ain't gonna last real long. So hey, iffy. Right here you got exhaust for your heater right here. So you have to watch for wasp nests. Get right here. This is your exhaust stuff for your refrigerator. Here's where you plug in outside power, 110 power. So it's actually a bigger type of voltage system. So I have to put a separate breaker in my shop to plug into, so it's, you know, like a 30 amp breaker. So anyway, and then right here we got an outside shower. That comes in handy for a dog that gets sick or something, or washing out deer. This is a flush thing, flushes them tanks out, your gray and black water tank, whenever you want to rinse them out, because, you know, it could get built up in there, and it could interfere with what your reading is on your level in there. And here's a city water connection. And when you think about that, you're hooking a hose up to this, but it's in there in a drawer. I've got a little regulator, pressure regulator, to hook up to the hose, then hook up to that hookup, because you want to make sure that pressure, you don't over pressurize your system, because you don't know when you go to these different campgrounds, you don't know what kind of water pressure they got or whatever. So you want to make yours consistent and safe. So make sure you have that regulator. Highly recommended. This right here is the external for your hot water heater. So that, you know, you kind of pay attention to that, keep it looked at, make sure ain't no trash or wasp built up in there. Spare tire back here. That's, you know, got some more satellite and cable hookup stuff. We don't use that. So a bunch of lights back here, you have to pay attention to them. That's one leak we had, is one of them little lights had a little bit of water coming in, run down that wall on the inside, and on the front we had the same thing happen one time. This bumper right here got a sewage storage hose in there for that up there. Then you see on there you got 2 valves. One is a gray, that small one's a gray, the bigger one is a black water. Basically commode water, and hook a hose up and get rid of that hose as you need to. So people gonna ask you, well, how do you get rid of all that? Well, when we're primitive camping, you know, my wife, born country, raised in the country, she knows what about using them woods. So if you need you know, if you got a place to get rid of that black water tank, you know, basically a septic tank stuff, if you got a hook up at your house, you can get rid of it, or you can stop it. A lot of your rest areas will have dump stations, and some of the campgrounds have dump stations, but 90% of the ones we stay at do not have dump stations. So keeping that usage to a minimum and planning that, you know, is pretty key. Your gray water, sink water, washing dishes, you know, that, you know, and then your shower water, you know, there's ways to get rid of that, you know, safely and without getting that tank too full. So, you know, kind of study how you're gonna do that. Don't be taking these big old showers, and you know, you gotta manage how much water you're gonna use, how you're gonna get rid of it, and how much is in your tank. So always kind of think about that stuff. So I think that about covers all that. So we just kind of keep all that in mind and planned. And underneath this camper, we have a liner put up against it to keep the tanks were exposed like, so we had them put a membrane underneath there. It's a flat membrane. It'll hold heat longer. That way if it gets real cold, you know, you don't have to worry about your stuff freezing as much. And we also had them put heated pads that we can turn on and keep them warm when it gets cold. But you just got to make sure you've got a water level in your gray tank and your black tank to actually evenly disperse the heat, and it'll keep that stuff from freezing. We've only had to use that a few times, you know, so if you think it's going to be extremely cold, you can make sure that gray and that black water tank is drained. And the water tank, it takes a lot, unless it's going to stay below freezing for days, it takes a lot to freeze that water tank. So kind of keep that in mind and always think about that. Also on the back, you see them stabilizing jacks. We have them in the back. Supposed to have them in the front, but as you look, we don't have any. And took them off because the campgrounds that we go to, if you got any dips, you know, it's a bumper pull, if you got any crazy dips and stuff like that, they would drag or hang. And so I took them front ones off, and it don't, you know, it rocks a little bit, but you're camping, that stuff don't matter. When you go in there, the bed's in the front, so you're not doing a whole bunch of walking right there by the bed, so it don't rock that much, so I don't really worry about it, and it's just a lot easier to deal with that. So, you know, some people also will put some kind of leveling system or jack stabilizer when they hook up to their truck to equalize the load out. I don't have to do that yet. I've never had to do that, so just be mindful about what all you pack in the camper and pay attention to your weights. You know, we pull this, well, they're Toyota Tundra, 2017 model. I've been doing that for, you know, ever since we've had this camper. So it's just, and this camper is 10 years old, so it's just what we use. You know, it's what we deal with. This is a Sonic. You know, you can get real fancy one. This is a lighter one that's got aluminum frame, you know, with some wood stuff in there. We've had to, you know, you'll have stuff because one of the things to remember this, when you're going down the road, stuff shaking, wind blowing, so you'll have something come loose every now and then. Always check your water connections before season or right when you're getting ready. I'll pressurize everything up. You know, I wash them tanks out with Clorox. You know, pour about a couple quarts of Clorox in there and fill it up and flush through all that. And we do not drink that water out of them tanks. You know, out of that fresh water tank, we just carry bottled water, and dogs the same way. We just a problem we don't have to worry about. So, but most of your primitive campgrounds, you can get these in. They don't care. So, and then, you know, some of them have generator hours, and here's the power supplies that we use. So, of course, over there, that's the size grill bottle that we use for the gas. So I carry an extra one with us sometimes. If we're camping for a long time, I'll carry 2 of them. So you can get them filled up for about $12 nowadays. You know, don't be doing that swapping stuff unless you've got a lot of money, because it's pricey. So we get them filled up about $12. I got about 5 of them. So that's what we use. Our power for the 110, I can take that cord that's run into my shop there to the plug and plug into one of these generators. Just depending on what the situation is, and, you know, I can rotate. So one of these generators, or either one of them, Honda 2000 generator, 2000 watt generators, okay? Everything in there, it will run, with the exception of that air conditioner. One of these generators, 2000 watt, will run anything in there. So besides the air conditioner, remember that. Besides the air conditioner, it'll run, you know. And that little gas tank is less than a gallon, half a quart of oil in them. And under normal situations, that gas tank will run about 12 hours. You know, if you need to run all night, it's just sitting there idling. You know, if you're running a full load, you know, it'll be less. You know, if you're running a microwave for a long time, you know, you don't want to do that. But, you know, it'll run that microwave in there. Or, you know, always remember this. You know, microwave is about 1,200 watts. So you max, they recommend like max running low for a long time on these 2000s, about 1500 watts. So you can peak them out for a little bit, you know, 1600 watts and be fine. So a microwave or a hair dryer or a coffee pot or a air fryer. One of the, you know, you can have one of them running. You know, don't do two, but that'll get you through about everything. So I mean, that's how we manage it. Now, if we need to run that air conditioner, it's a whole different deal. But the reason we got these two 2000 is that one, like I said, again, one of them 2000 run all night. It'll run that TV and stuff all night on less than a gallon of gas. So if you buy a 5,000 watt generator and that's all you're using, or 6,000, whatever, and you're sitting there running it, especially them cheaper ones, burns a lot of extra gas for nothing. So you don't need that much boats. So actually a 1000 will run the TV and all that without any issues. It just won't run a microwave or that stuff. So the 2000 is what we've had. I've had one of these since the 2011 tornado, no issues. The other one I bought 5-6 years later out of that, I've had a couple issues with it, with getting the carburetor, get the bolt in there got kind of screwed up. And it's supposed to be, all the gas I ever buy is supposed to be 100% gas, but they said that somehow or another it didn't look like it was 100% gas. Well, what gas station got me, I don't know. But anyway, what we use, these 2000. If we need to run that air conditioner, or if we want to run something for a long time, or, you know, a pretty good while, these two will hook together. I got a connections in there where you can get two plugs in right here on each generator, one ground wire. Start them both up, and however you start them is how you run them. We got a switch on here. It's an eco throttle. If you run them on together, make sure you run it on together on both of them while you got it hooked up both together to power your camper. So if you run them off, run both of them on off. So what you do is you get them both cranked and then plug it in. Then you turn what stuff on into the camper. But always make sure when you, especially with these double ones, get both of them cranked before you plug anything in. Now I'll leave it plugged up with one if I'm just doing my normal stuff and just crank it, you know. They're easy to crank. So again, 200, 2000, and if you're going to have two of them to link together, this is another key thing. There's two different names of them. You got a companion and just a regular inverter one, but that companion one is the one that's got the bigger plug, 20 amp outlet that goes out to the camper. So when you double them up, you got to plug into that one to get the full juice. So always remember that it takes two different ones, you know. So but either one of them will power it individually unless you want to run them together. And we put both of them together. We'll put both of them together and run that air conditioner, you know. Of course, you ain't gonna have to watch it, you know. Most of the time when we're hunting, we don't have to run an air conditioner, but you know, an hour or so in the evening to cool it down, you know, or maybe in the middle of the day, just depending on how hot it gets, you know, because you know there are campers, they'll heat up pretty quick with sunlight shining on them. So always kind of think about that, is how much gas it's going to use. So but it will run that air conditioner like it ain't nothing, both of these. So we've done it several times. Matter of fact, I mean, and I always carry two with me no matter what I'm doing, just for a backup one. That's just simple. Yeah, they're a little bit pricey, but hey, very well worth it. And like, again, I've had one since 2011, so 13 years, no issue. $1,100 well spent to me. You know, that thing took care of our house during that tornado stuff for a week and a half till we got power back. You know, running freezers and refrigerators and fish tanks, you know. So that's what we recommend. That's what we use. And again, Cassie can operate these easily. They're not real. I mean, I can look at that. I can pick that up, and it's got a full tank of gas. Not extremely heavy. She can manipulate them. She can crank them. Pretty simple, you know. Always make sure you got the right kind of adapters for them too. So this is basically our camping setup. So, and we, you know, usually we're already camping by now, but y'all know about, if you don't know, we've had some medical stuff going on with one of Kathy's family members, and still working through that. So we've not really been able to go camping yet this year for hunting season. So, but me and my brother are fixing to do it. So again, you know, this is a full fiberglass camper, fiberglass top. There's places up there that you can check on the caulking that I'll do twice a year. We go up there and wash it. check the caulking out. It's easy to caulk yourself. And, you know, if you get any dry spots with a little crack, just caulk it. Make sure they daggum all these lights. Because that one right there leaked one time. That water run down, it got there and it run down this inside of here. So it didn't get inside the camper, but just run inside that wall. So it didn't. So far we're good, but that's just stuff you got to kind of worry about, just like everything else. Just like having a boat, just like having a house, whatever. You got stuff you got to kind of take care of. It's not made quite as good as your house. So anyway, also I grease on wheel bearings like a shot or two, you know, once a year, you know, and I've already done that. So kind of think if I can think of anything else, but it's a nice little camper again, you know. It's comfortable for 2 people. You know, it ain't not for a whole big old huge family, but for 2 people and our dogs we got, you know, fantastic for us. We've really enjoyed it, you know. And plus I can drive it and get it back here in my backyard without too big an issue. And it's called a 190, so I guess it's a 19 footer. So anyway, that's what we use, what we kind of still recommend. You can get it in and out most campgrounds without any issue. Kathy can even pull it and drive it. She won't back it up, of course, but she'll do everything else. So that's about it. I hope I covered everything. So again, you know, that battery will run everything you need to survive camping. You know, you've got gas for cooking, for warming stuff up. You know, you got these powder, these dry, freeze-dried foods. You can just warm water up or boil water and make them to survive for a week with some snacks. I mean, just not a whole lot to it. And that has, you know, you don't have to have a bunch of high-tech stuff, you know. That generator helps, you know, to power the battery back up. But it's just, and you can survive, I guess, with your truck if you had to. But just got to remember that battery is, you know, you got stuff in there that's going to run all the time. And one of them is the O2 sensor, propane detector, and carbon dioxide detector. That runs around the clock on that battery. So, you know, if you don't charge it, make sure it's charged. In about 2 days or so, it's going to die. So, and then if that does that, if your refrigerator's on, there goes your power, your controller to that refrigerator. So it'll start slowly, you know, warming up. So, but just remember that, just stuff to remember. But them generators over there handle a lot, you know, and you can stay going all day just on a battery. Everything be fine as long as you got a decent battery. So again, we appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully it's helped y'all. If you need one, get one. Hey, if you want to ask any more questions, send me a message. Send the rat a message. We'll try to answer it, but this is what we got. That's how we enjoy it. And hey, flat, let's work on another one. It's time to go. This season is fixing to pick up. Weather's fixing to change. And gonna be serious. So hey, we'll see y'all. Appreciate y'all. Out. Everybody, thank y'all for watching the videos. Well, again, we appreciate y'all's support. If you haven't liked, please like and subscribe. And don't care if you haven't got one of our books, check out Amazon and get a book. Also, we got a link on there where you can, on our YouTube channel, where you can go on. We got a little store set up. Like if you're interested in any kind of merchandise, shirts and stuff, you can check that out. And we really appreciate anything like that. So again, we appreciate y'all's support. You know, keep watching. We're gonna keep trying to share the outdoors and how we do some things and try to help everybody that we can enjoy the outdoors. And you know, we do this for just basically because of the environment and the community that's involved and built around hunting. So again, we appreciate y'all. Like, share, and we'll see y'all again. Bye.